the schools are relevant or not relevant. That's the discussion we are having today. I feel that the coaching centers can provide an exam-centric.
When it comes to the school, yes, the competition, or maybe you can say the kind of perception which our parents and students have, that if you go to a coaching institute, you
In recent years, the rise of coaching institutes, online learning platforms, and exam focused preparation programs has significantly transformed the educational landscape. For many students, learning no longer begins and ends within the classroom. The expansion of coaching culture raises an important question. Are schools losing their relevance, or is their role simply evolving? Good afternoon and a warm welcome. You're watching Think Tank, presented by My School Admission, powered by Education Today, along with our media partner, Education News Network. I'm your host, Nitya Krishnamurthy, and today's panel discussion explores a relevant topic in today's educational ecosystem. Are schools losing relevance in the age of coaching culture? Schools have traditionally been the cornerstone of a child's academic, social, and emotional development. Yet, with growing competition, high-stakes examinations, and the increasing popularity of coaching centers, many stakeholders are re-examining the role schools play in shaping student success. Are schools still the primary drivers of learning, or do they need to redefine their purpose in a rapidly changing world? To discuss this important issue, we are joined by two distinguished educational leaders. We have with us Ms. Vidya Guruprasad, Principal of Ryan International School, Kundalahalli, Bangalore. Welcome, ma'am. We also have Dr. Ritu Chauhan, Senior Principal and Director of Mega International School, Bangalore. Welcome, ma'am, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's begin the discussion. Ms. Vidya Guruprasad, I'd like to start with you. In today's educational landscape, what do you believe remains the most unique and irreplaceable role of schools, despite the growing influence of coaching institutes?
Well, thank you, Nitya, for that question. This topic happens to be a much required and thought-provoking discussion. However, as you said, the schools are relevant or not relevant. That's the discussion we are having today. I feel that the coaching centers can provide an exam-centric preparation, right? And the schools are beyond that. They have a different mandate. The schools prepare for life, right? So in the present day scenario, if we see the coaching centers taking over as high stake, right? The role that the schools would play stand as very, very crucial. Preparing for social responsibilities, emotional well-being, values. Where are all these going to come from?
Exactly.
Nowhere else than the school.
Right.
And hence, I stand by my point saying schools will never ever lose their relevance in the years to come. Right. And hence, these are the aspects they would emphasize on in a child's life.
Exactly. Thank you. So, Dr. Ritu Chauhan, coming to you. With many schools today spending considerable time outside school attending coaching classes, how can schools ensure they continue to be the primary space for meaningful learning and development?
Yes, Nitya ma'am, I completely agree with my co-panelist, Vidya ma'am. When it comes to the school, yes, the competition, or maybe you can say the kind of perception which our parents and students have, that if you go to a coaching institute, you will succeed or you will become what you want to become. They don't realize that the kind of environment coaching institutes are giving, it is not appropriate for our children. Rather, on the other side, when you look at schools, we are made for formal education. We need to see that schools become a cohesive learning ecosystem. Because if we give what the coaching institute is promising to give, then I think they will not go to the coaching institute. So, for a school, like in my school as well, we need to upskill our teachers, because we do not train our teachers on exam pedagogy. The kind of preparation which is required for these kids after 10th is not given in the school. That is the reason they are going outside. Plus, they promise, again, I just repeat myself, it's a false notion that only coaching can prepare you for IIT, NEET or JEE exam. Even schools, if you upskill your teachers, if you have that kind of hybrid assessments in your school, wherein not just descriptive and analytical, you can train them on OMR sheets, how to solve the questions of MCQ type. So if we do that, I think there will be no need of our children to go to these coaching institutes.
Right. No, that's very true. Teacher training is imperative here.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, Miss Vidya, with technology, AI-powered learning tools, and personalized coaching becoming more accessible now, how do you see the role of schools evolving over the next decade?
Yes, very true. AI is a part of technology, right? And we all are now evolved. Most of the schools are now evolved. In fact, the entire education system has evolved over the years. But AI would stand as a tool forever, wherein school is a community in itself, right? And if I talk about the AI, it will be a tool for bringing up the technological part of learning and education. But when it comes to holistic learning and development and growth, that's where the school would stand as the one and only standalone provider in the years to come. So it's going to be working hands in hands together. AI and school's role cannot be separated. While AI is going to be a tool supporting the learning, which would be provided by the school.
Right.
However, the schools need to evolve. As I'm again saying, many schools have. But we, if we wish to survive and keep up our relevance, evolving is very, very important. Coming up to the needs of the present day scenario, the needs of the society, the needs of the children.
Of the current generation.
Yes, making the education child-centric and not examination-centric. That's what we are looking at, right? That's where this topic of discussion comes for. Because examinations being completely high stake in the country, right? The competitive examinations, everything is based around the examinations, the ranking, the results. So when the shift of the understanding happens that education as a whole is to be child-centric and not examination-centric, I'm sure AI would just stand as a tool there, and school will play its complete role in developing holistic growth.
Right. It can act as a tool, but definitely not a replacement.
Yes, not a replacement.
Yes. So, Dr. Ritu, beyond academic achievement, schools contribute significantly to a child's overall growth, like we just discussed. So, which aspects of student development do you think are often overlooked when education becomes heavily coaching-centric?
Of course, when we look at coaching institutes, as I said previously, they are not giving a social environment to the child. As a school, it is our utmost, you can say, priority that we take the child for that holistic education. We do not have these kind of boundaries that, okay, only for exam will prepare. As Vidya ma'am rightly mentioned, schools are preparing the students for life. Coaching institutes may be preparing them for different competitive exam. So the main focus for coaching institute is just the preparation of exam, and they do not have any idea about the child's mental health or the overall well-being. They miss out heavily on that. On the other side, when you look at the school, the child is with us for 6 to 7 hours. A teacher is there to take, to give that personal attention to the child. Even if the child is under stress or any kind of dilemma or any kind of, So the role of the school lies in social emotional learning. When we look at social emotional learning, that is heavily missed in coaching institutes. We as a school focus on the holistic education and just not on conceptual understanding. That is even better we deal here in schools than the coaching institute, because the way they teach, the way they keep the students in their classrooms, there is no personalized attention at all. And every child is different. We all know by now. So it is, I think, more so because of parental pressure or the kind of society pressure which we have created that these coaching institutes are booming. But according to me, again, because my elder daughter is in 4th year of MBBS, and we have perfectly balanced without any coaching. She has managed to get into the reputed college in Mysore without any, help of coaching institute. So school plays a vital role in the overall well-being of the child, and that I think no institute can replace.
So, have there been any instances where parents kind of favor coaching institutes?
Oh, yes. Today only one child came in and he said he wants a shift. So please give me permission to go to this institute. He will not come to the school because there is a concept of something like dummy school. They just enroll the kids at a very nominal fees. So the first answer was like, for me, it was like, no, it's not possible in our school. But still, parents have that mentality that only coaching institute can do wonders. Schools cannot. But with proper counseling and I think with proper guidance, as school principals, we can change the perception.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Vidya, in your experience, what are some misconceptions that parents and students may have about the role of schools versus coaching institutes, and how can schools address them?
Yes, this is the present scenario. So it is the parents' expectations which is actually leading to the misconception that schools are losing the relevance, and the present education system is all about coaching, and the coaching budge, or so-called the importance of coaching-based learning has happened. I believe if the schools can emphasize on a strong career guidance, right, and a very personalized learning atmosphere, this need would be going off. Yes, I need to balance both when I say so, because our country's education system is such, right? The change has to begin from the higher end, wherein the curriculum is reframed as per the needs of the society. But yes, it's always been exam-centric. The rote learning has to go off from the schools, right? It has to be more personalized, more conceptual. If these things are taken care of, I'm sure parents understand that school would be the right place to have the child growing in all these aspects and not the coaching center. But for the present scenario, the parents need a good preparation for the examination, competitive examinations, and they feel that coaching centers would provide that. I feel balancing both is very important, right? We do need to prepare for the coaching, for the competitive examinations. However, the school life cannot be eliminated from those 2 years. We are basically talking about the higher secondary, right? The post-10th, the grade 11 and grade 12, when the serious coaching happens towards the competitive examinations. These 2 years cannot be having a life of deprived school atmosphere. There has to be 2 years of additional school learning in every child's life. And hence, India has this higher secondary education system. So that emphasis has to be laid by all the schools. So in our school also, even if coaching is provided, it's very important that we engage the children in all the other aspects of learning, holistic learning. So if I may state, engaging in leadership development. We do not deprive these students who are engaging in coaching from the leadership engagement. So they are a part of the school's student parliament. We have a replica of a country's parliament system. They are a part of the student parliament system. They also are a part of a daily assembly, right? We do not deprive them. That's a storehouse of energy and values for us. Yes. We begin our day with our assembly, and we are really indeed proud of that. So we do not deprive all these things for the children who are in grade 11 and grade 12, may be undergoing coaching. But these things is what makes our parent community at Ryan feel very satisfied with what they are receiving for their children.
And ma'am, doesn't it become too much of a burden on the students, because the school is already working towards the holistic development, and then the coaching institute? So what do you say about that?
Yes, it has to be balanced well. As I said, the curriculum framing, the timing, the diversion of the academic work and the other aspects of learning has to be balanced well. That's the part of the school. That's the role the school plays. So at no space or no time should it be overwhelming for the children, right? So I think we have done it well. It's very well weighed and balanced. We are not engaging the students in too many tasks beyond their academics, but at the same time, they are learning the other aspects which they have to be prepared for when they graduate, right? And that's what is called preparing for life. Right. So I feel it can be done very well. Yes.
So, Dr. Ritu Chauhan, parents today often face the dilemma of balancing school education with additional coaching support. So, how can schools strengthen parental confidence in the value they provide?
Yes, Nitya ma'am, recently one parent came in and the kind of stress and anxiety I could see in that room is still I get goosebumps, because two of the children, they outrightly said, ma'am, we are so stressed. We are not able to balance the coaching as well as the school thing, because as school we are also giving, you know, a lot of activities, and because we follow experiential pedagogy. So somewhere when the parent came in that no, my child is taking a dropout for this year for both, it was like a shocking thing for me that child is losing his confidence so much that he is not even saying that I'll drop the coaching. He's saying I'll drop the school also. So for parents, first thing is, as parents, we cannot pressurize the students for the performance. First thing is, let us identify what your child wants, and then what are the different aptitudes or kind of you can say the talent or strengths of the children. Unless you do that psychometric analysis, you shouldn't arrive on this kind of thing that okay, either engineer or doctor, there is nothing else in this world. After this AI intervention, after a lot of other career coming in, we are already seeing how engineers are, the jobs are at risk. So we need to prepare them for the futuristic job options. So parents, first thing is, we need to remove this thing from our mind that only the coaching institutes can do this, or only these 2-3 professions are only can bring that kind of proud to your family or pride to your family. We must consider other options. Point number one, parents must understand that every child is different. We cannot have same expectations. Maybe in a same family, my elder one is in medicine, my younger one is in commerce. So we are no one to actually guide. At certain point we need to take a back seat as parents. We need to allow the child to understand what his or her future aspirations are, and accordingly, as principals, it's our duty to guide our parents to do that kind of career counseling. Maybe we can call up the industry experts to our school and show the parents and the students that there are multiple other options available which can be done within school. The academic rigor, it can be done in the school, and we can only prepare those kids for any kind of competition, whether it is an exam or it's life. Now the question arises, Nitya ma'am, why the parents and students are opting any kind of institute or coaching center and not the school. Why? Because schools are not ready. I'm not generalizing the statement. Maybe many schools are doing really well, but many schools are not doing the way the teaching has to happen. First thing is, when you know that this is the kind of pedagogy or this is the kind of curriculum which we need to cater in 11th and 12th, then why our teachers are not skilled or trained to teach that way? Secondly, when you know that there is a set type of assessment is happening for these competitive exam, why are we not training our students to answer such type of questions or adapt to different assessment methods? Secondly, we need to see that whatever we do in the school, the academic rigor cannot go down, because fortunately or unfortunately, the kind of competitive world which we face in India, there is a need of academic rigor, which school has to understand. And if we give that academic rigor, if we upskill our teachers, if we give them that kind of assessment scenarios within the school hours, I think there will be no need for parents to choose the coaching institute over us. So there is no debate that which one they have to choose. We schools will remain. We are the formal education system, and we need to upgrade ourselves in every way so that parents don't go outside the campus.
And Ms. Vidya, I'd like to ask you, if you could redesign one aspect of the current school system to better meet the needs of today's learners, what would that be?
Rather, I would say we are already doing it. And that's, as I said earlier as well, the schools need to restructure and relook into the system of delivering the education. So academics must remain as the bedrock. But around that, a strong career guidance, which we are doing, would really help the children to choose the right path and to decide whether they really need to get into the coaching or not.
Exactly.
And that's been missing for now in many schools, I feel. A strong career guidance and, of course, a value system, right? So we are already engaging into it. We have an associated program for social emotional learning. We have an associated program for the STEM learning, and we also have an additional program for English language learning. So I think these aspects are already preparing the children for competitive levels, right? Apart from the subject learning, which would come up as they grow in the years. So these aspects have to begin right from an early age, the upper primary classes. And I think that would really help the schools to prepare the students to the needs of competitive examinations without the coaching, without taking the help of the coaching. So I feel we are getting equipped with that, and that's a good move.
Right.
Well, to conclude, I would say in the years to come, or the future rather, shouldn't be schools versus coaching centers, right? It should be rather how well prepared are we, or how well are we going to ensure that the education remains child-centric. That should be the challenge that we should discuss upon. And whether it's coaching center or the schools, everybody has to look at this aspect, that education must remain child-centric. Right. And when it comes to this topic for now, I think schools would ever remain irreplaceable. Rather than losing the relevance, I think they're going to become more relevant now. The schools will be more relevant more so, because this aspect of child-centric education can be provided only at a school. Right. However, I also urge that the Indian education system, the authorities look into restructuring the education curriculum in a manner that we move a little away from the exam-centric learning, right? And that calls for many schools to get into rote teaching methods and very, very monotonous way of teaching. It would help the children to get into the next learning level if the education curriculum is also relooked into. But for the years to come, schools will gain more relevance in the times ahead, because we need to work on this challenge of ensuring child-centric education.
And speaking about child-centric education, it also becomes important for parents and schools to collaborate. Right?
Exactly. It has to be a work which is done mutually. Yes. And I believe that the vision, whichever institution the child studies in, or rather all the educational institutions, if they have the vision of providing a child-centric education, and if all the stakeholders bind with the vision, they feel one with the vision, the development of the child is bound to happen in the way it should be. Right. So feeling one with the vision is very important. So the objective has to be common, and only then we can work hands together.
Absolutely agree with that. Thank you.
For me, in conclusion, I feel I have just one message to all the parents out there, that when you look at your child, I think the first and foremost thing is the happiness of your child, which you have to really put emphasis on. Whether you want your child to be a doctor without any skill set, without any personal life, without any hobby, without any skill, or you want a doctor as a leader who has the leadership qualities, who knows that clarity of thought, clarity of expression is required, the decision-making skills is required, the kind of communication, the kind of collaboration which we need in this society, which is of paramount importance. So if you feel that, yes, this is what you want your child to achieve in future, I think you should trust the schools. And as schools, we will also be able to fulfill the requirements which coaching institutes give you. We will be able to evolve as a school, as a complete learning ecosystem.
Very well said, Dr. Ritu. Thank you so much for that. On that note, we conclude today's discussion. A big thank you to both our panelists for sharing such valuable insights. It is clear from today's discussion that the relevance of schools cannot be measured solely by examination results or competitive outcomes. While coaching institutes may help students prepare for specific goals, schools continue to play a far broader role. Nurturing character, building life skills, fostering relationships, and creating environments where young minds learn not just what to think, but how to think. Perhaps the real question is not whether schools are losing relevance, but how they can continue evolving to meet the needs of a new generation of learners. As education transforms, schools that embrace innovation while staying true to their foundational purpose will remain at the heart of student success. Thank you for watching Think Tank, presented by My School Admission, powered by Education Today, along with our media partner, Education News Network. If you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more conversations with leading educators and change makers shaping the future of education. We'd also love to hear your thoughts. Do you think schools are evolving fast enough to stay relevant in today's learning ecosystem? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, this is Nitya Krishnamurthy signing off.